The Ring of Honor to me means just being forever remembered in the hallways of Troy. Wearing the orange and black means a lot to a lot of people. And I know growing up on the east side of town, you just get a certain sense of pride, wearing the orange and black. And to be remembered forever is just a great honor. So when I come back with my kids or maybe my grandkids one day, they can just look back and now, if they don't believe me, they can look and see my name somewhere, and being a Hall of Fame is just pretty much self-explanatory, so.
Well, it's very special. It's something that I really didn't expect. And it's something that's pretty unique in my life in a High Point. And I'm very appreciative of it.
Growing up, I used to go to East High football games and watching them. They were always undefeated, et cetera, et cetera. And it just got to be something that was really neat growing up, and to be included in something like this is very special.
It's something that I've thought about. I never wished for, more hope for maybe, but I knew it was out there, and I was always hoping that would happen. But I was beginning to think I was not being relative, if you will, anymore. And then Mike Watkins called me, and we were talking, and that ball got to rolling. And little did I know, it took one try, and he said it was unanimous, so how could I fail?
This is a great honor for our family and my brother. It's a long time coming, and he's well deserving of this honor, and we're just grateful that he got nominated for this great opportunity.
I appreciate the committee voting me in and recognizing all the old players who have put blood, sweat, and tears into being on the East High football team. Yeah, this is probably one of the most gratifying awards I've had as an individual. So I definitely appreciate it, but I couldn't have did it without my coaches and teammates. So I'm very thankful for this award. Favorite memory is breaking the losing streak. I was a part of that team who won a game. It had been a few years before Eastside had won the football game, so I was a part of that team and blessed to be a part of that team.
There's a lot of memories back then, but I think the biggest one is getting off the bus at Sloan Wallace and getting on the field and getting going and get the plays going and seeing Jerry Moses drag two guys down the field and Dave Jackson catching a floater from a quarterback, John Tovar, and plays running up the middle that Roy Dixon and Willie Shaver and I were blocking. It was a big thrill, and we really had a good time doing it.
I would say my favorite memory was not a football game or anything. It was actually going to Des Moines and watching the basketball players win the state championship. It was a great, great time. And us football players were all there too.
The best ones were with individual players like Tom Smith, Mike Allen, Tom Carruthers, Harry Tholstrup, and those are linemen. It's just, and I can remember all the guys. I remember. I can remember particular games and what happened in those particular games that made us. We had a game with Dubuque. They were Dubuque Waller. They were ranked number 3, and they were pushing us like, okay, we got you. So they come into Waterloo to play us, and we spanked them. We scored 5 touchdowns, but we only won 6-0. We had four touchdowns get called back. So, but anyway, yeah, that was a good one because Tom and me, we played on the same side, and it was just good. It was good.
I have a couple of memories. I remember when he played for UCLA and he played against the University of Iowa. That was great for him for a homecoming for him. And he also got to play against some of the kids he played against in high school. So it was a great moment for that. And also when he had a breakout game at his junior college where he ran for 173 yards and 14 carries.
I would probably say my favorite memory is my senior year. We were playing West High. We were down by 7 with like a minute left to go inside of our own 10-yard line. It was about 4th and 15. Came back, tied the game, and then I scored the game-winning touchdown. And then on the right pylon, then ran to our crowd it's a memory that it was a blur at the time, but it's a memory that I remember like it was yesterday. So definitely my favorite memory, for sure.
Welcome to the 2024 East High School Ring of Honor football ceremony. I am Tim Moses, Director of Athletics here at East High School. I would like to say thank you to the Ring of Honor Committee for all your hard work in organizing this amazing ceremony. Let's give them a round of applause, all the Ring of Honor members that helped organize this. Thank you to the Waterloo Community School District Superintendent Jared Smith, who couldn't be here tonight. Unfortunately, he had another important meeting to be at. Director of Human Resource Director Anthony Spaghettis was also at that same meeting, as well as Director of Secondary Education Amy Schmidt. But present with us today is our District Athletic Director, Dan Huff. Where's Dan at? Dan Huff, raise your hand. Thank you, Dan. Let me back up, because I missed the part that I wanted to give a very special thank you to our Hall of Famer, Miss Mary Louise Bryant Wilder, for preparing tonight's amazing meal. Let's give Miss Bryant a round of applause. And the ladies that are helping her, let's also give them a round of applause. Thank you, ladies. As you all know, East High has a strong, rich tradition of football throughout the state of Iowa. Here are some small examples of East High's football tradition. 6 years undefeated football seasons, a.k.a. the streak. 6 state championships, state football championships, numerous conference championships, 7 All-Americans, over 100 all-state football players, a lot of which are sitting right here in front of you tonight. Numerous NCAA division football players, 3 NFL football players, most of any Waterloo schools. With that being said, it is an absolute honor to be a member of this great collection of athletes from Waterloo East High School. At this time, I would like to turn it over to the principal of Waterloo East High School, Mr. Byron Phillips.
Timo took my speech, and Charlie didn't tell me I was talking until about 5 minutes ago. And so he gave me some explicit instructions, and so he knows I'm not going to follow him. If you know Charlie, he's real detail-oriented. He started talking about the Ring of Honor probably 30 years ago. And as Tim said, my name is Byron Phillips, and a lot of you know, some of you I played against, some of you had a chance to coach and work with, but I went to the other school. Grew up the street. I was one of those guys that got bussed. And I see Frost back there, he knows my story. My brother got away with lying about the address, and I didn't. So I had to go to West. But I've always been I'm a Wall Hawk, but a Trojan fan. So a lot of you guys I'm familiar with, some just by name, some of the stories that I heard at my house or at my Uncle John's house, John Dunn Sr. So I've heard all the stories. And as Mr. Minton was talking earlier, about guys that he said knew his name, that he had no idea they knew who he was. Well, even though I went to West High, I got that same thing. Walter Reed, who was doing the radio at the time, he did the state championship game that we lost to Sioux City East. And he gave me a play-by-play after the game of what I did wrong. And so even though I was a Wall Hawk, I got love from Trojans, okay? So my job is now to introduce our Master of Ceremonies, Charlie Aldridge. I think he went in 2009, and he's a Hall of Fame. You don't want me to tell the whole story? Okay. Without further ado, Mr. Charlie Aldridge.
Well, good evening, everybody. welcome, welcome, and I mean really welcome to this, our 20th Ring of Honor ceremony. I want to ask you a quick question to start off with. What other school in the state remembers, recognizes, acknowledges the rich history, heritage, and tradition of its football program like East High School does with a Ring of Honor? And this is our 20th year, so we are very, very excited to get this going and keep it going. But you don't do it with just a few people. There's a lot of people that we need to single out and give thanks for their continued support each and every year. Again, thank you, Principal Byron Phillips, for your continued support to make this event a success. In the 20 years, Brian, we've had a lot of principals and they've all supported it, but we cannot have a ceremony at East High School unless we have the support of the principal. So thank you, Mr. Phillips. Also, thank you, Athletic Director and Ring of Honor member Tim Moses, for helping set up and get all the little details going on around here that you don't see, all the behind the scenes thing with Timmy. So thank you, Tim Moses. Great job. And it seems like I do this every year, but every year is just as important. We want to say a huge, and I mean a huge, thank you to the East High Golf Alumni Committee that helps us financially purchasing these Ring of Honor polo shirts, the plaques, the certificates, and the frames. And for those of you who play in the East Golf Alumni, please understand where part of that money goes, it'll be right here. So again, thank you for that. A big thank you, we got to continue on with the East High Secretary Shannon Jensen. She's not here, but you're looking at a lot of the programs that she made up. She did a really good job of that, and she wanted to make sure that the school song was printed in there so everybody knows the words. So we want to say thank you to that. You know, for 19 out of the 20 years of Ring of Honor ceremonies, Katrina Heeman has been sending out press releases, alerting the media, getting our video lined up, and has been our #1 administrative supporter. Katrina's not here, but we want to let her know on tape that we appreciate it. And speaking of videotaping, we're very happy to have Kelsey Hammer videotaping our ceremony. For those people that are out of town or out of state or just unable to make it, it will be put on Facebook. It'll be put on YouTube. So, and plus the Waterloo City Cable channel. Tim had mentioned it before, but it needs to be mentioned again. We need to thank our Ring of Honor Executive Board that makes the decisions and the guidance that keeps us rolling along every year. To Gabe Benson, to Randy Lee, to Tarek Stevens, to Tony Stevens, and to Lloyd Timms, we say thank you for all the work that you do to keep the Ring of Honor going. I think they deserve a great dang round of applause. We'd also, at this time, we'd like to recognize in the audience any other former East High football players that put on the orange and black uniform that's here tonight. These guys in the Ring of Honor will tell you it is a team sport. You can't do it by yourself. You need a team, and you can't put in 4,500 guys in the Ring of Honor. But they will tell you without your help, they never get here. So in the audience, do we have any Ring of Honor? Come on, Frost, I know you're going to stand up first. Stand up and be recognized. Stand up, come on, don't be shy. Any former East High football players in the audience? We'll take it. We would also like to wish head football coach DeCarlos Anderson, his staff, and the 2024 East High football team the best of luck tomorrow night with our game versus Fort Dodge and throughout the rest of the season. Also, please note that we have a raffle for 2 autographed commemorative t-shirts signed by all the Ring of Honor members here. In the back corner over there, you can still purchase them up to the end of the ceremony when we'll have the drawing at that time. Okay, at this time, I'd like to read our Ring of Honor mission statement, which has not really changed, has not really been altered within the last 20 years, and it still holds true today. The Ring of Honor has been established to recognize former outstanding East High football players and coaches who excelled during their playing career at East High School. This select group of former Trojans will have made major contributions to the success of East High School football and brought positive recognition to the program for their outstanding achievements on the gridiron for the Orange and Black. The inductees are being selected by present and past Ring of Honor members. The common denominator of all the Ring of Honor is knowing that regardless of the year you played on or the achievements or the team you played on, they share an equal status. Once identified, all Ring of Honor inductees attain a lifetime membership. Each Ring of Honor member never graduates, never goes on the injury reserve list, is always eligible, never moves out of the district, and never transfers. We feel this is one of the highest honors a football player at East High School can attain. Established in 2005, this is the 20th year in existence. 135 members have been inducted so far, and with tonight's 6 new inductees, we are proud to announce a grand total of 141 members and counting. Okay, as we celebrate the members with us tonight, let's not forget, and can we please take a moment of silence to remember the 39 Ring of Honor members who are no longer with us today. Thank you. And now let's recognize and acknowledge our Ring of Honor members in attendance here tonight. Members, we call your name. Would you please stand up, wave to Kelsey over there to make sure you're on the camera so you look good and distinguished. All right? Let's get going, starting with our phenomenal, outstanding coaches that are here with us tonight. An assistant coach at East High from 1971 to 1975, working with the offensive and defensive backs. He helped lead East to the 1971 state championship, #1 ranking in 1973. In addition to being an outstanding teacher in the mathematics department, 2016 inductee Lowell Grunwald. Serving as the first head freshman coach ever at East, and then an assistant sophomore coach, a head sophomore, assistant sophomore coach, to head sophomore coach, to varsity assistant, and attaining success at every level. He's the doctor of examining the X and O's of football, 2010 inductee Al Lampman. He started his coaching career resume at Logan Junior High and on East High as a sophomore coach and later a varsity assistant. His dedication to East football and his desire to make every player better as a student, an athlete, and a valuable contributor to society, the man who bleeds orange and black eternally, 2007 inductee Mike Sheely. This coach was the professor of the offensive line, instructing his East players how to do it the right way during the week and seeing them pass the test each Friday night, propelling an East offense that dominated its opponents. His coaching record while as an assistant at East for 6 years was an astounding 49 wins, 4 losses, 1 tie, and 5 state championships. 2010 inductee Larry Van Ort. And after serving as an assistant coach at East for 4 years and helping them win the 1966 state championship, he returned to East High as the head coach and led them to a perfect 18-0 record and 2 straight state championships in 1969 and 1970. including 2 epic end-of-the-year victories over West High School, which was 15-1 at that time. Coming all the way down from Wisconsin to be here tonight, 2014 inductee, Coach Bruce Wigman. Okay, let's move on with our Ring of Honor offensive and defensive linemen in the year they were inducted. 2015 inductee, Steve Elfritz. 2014 inductee, Jeremy Jones. 2006 inductee, Dwayne Ort. 2007 inductee, Larry Tees. 2008 inductee, Tom Thorson. 2010 inductee, Ron Turner. Our youngest Ring of Honor that we have here, 2021 inductee, Cole Van Way. (2023) inductee, John Wall. (2020) inductee, Kurt Wilkes. And you know, 20 years ago today, we had our very first Ring of Honor inductees. And 20 years ago, they were in the inaugural class. One of the very first ones inducted in 2005, Sean Hewitt. And the other guy, if we didn't have him involved in the last 20 years, let me tell you, there would be no Ring of Honor. He has been instrumental in keeping this thing going, a major factor, and you couldn't help it not have him in the very first year. 2005 inductee, Mike Allen. Introducing our linebackers, 2021 inductee, Danny Banks. 2021 inductee, Brian Curran. 2017 inductee, coming all the way from Chicago, Illinois, Steve Dullard. 2010 inductee, Brian Payne. 2013 inductee, Rod Payne. 2018 inductee, Jamel Rowe. 2014 inductee, Scott Rowe. And in 2014, he was inducted but wasn't able to be here because he had an out-of-town commitment. But making his very first ever Ring of Honor appearance live, 2014 inductee, Jeff Zapital. And again, in our inaugural class from 20 years ago, in 2005, in the first class, Mark Loftus. Let's go to our defensive backs. 2010 inductee, Dave Magnuson. 2011 inductee, Tim Moses. 2016 inductee, Jeff Smith. 2022 inductee, Lloyd Timms. 2007 inductee, Mike Woodley. I don't know if he just wants his picture in the hallway, but we're glad to have him make the trip up. 2008 inductee Darius Lovelace. (2017) inductee Sammy Menton. (2007) inductee Mike Roby. (2012) inductee Mike Watkins. And our quarterbacks, 2024 inductee Troy Alexander. 2020 inductee Gabe Benson. 2013 inductee Craig Carper. 2007 inductee John Dunn. And another rare appearance, 2008 inductee John Tovar. And of course, our Ring of Honor running backs. Representing his dad, Leon Fike, who played in 1941, is his son here tonight, 2021 inductee Ronnie Fike. (2006) inductee Darnell Jones. 2011 inductee Randy Lee. 2023 inductee Glenn Gmo Moore. Again, very happy having him here tonight. 2021 inductee Trice Scott. 2008 inductee Tony Stevens. And rounding out our 2005 inductee, 20 years ago today, was inducted 2005 inductee Neil Moses. You know, now what we have here is the greatest collection of football players and coaches in the state of Iowa in one place at one time for one event. Ladies and gentlemen, can we hear it for the East High Football Hall of Fame members? Okay, now let's meet our 2024 inductees, starting with our Memorial Award, and here to present it is 2007 Ring of Honor member, Coach Mike Sheely.
I'm really not that old, but it sure feels like it. I'm very, very happy to be here tonight to make another induction into the East High Ring of Honor. Every time I appear in any crowd at East High School, I just almost break up because this means so much to me. In the last 3 years, I've had 3 sisters die that all graduated from here. I graduated from here in '65. And I'm so proud to be a member of the Ring of Honor without ever starting a football game at East High School. That's got to be a record. I was lucky enough to be able to get a coaching job here after spending a few years at Logan. And I'm very, very proud of all the young men I've been able to help as they tried to make their way through the football program here at East High School. And then later, as I became a guidance counselor here, it even became even more important to me to make sure that every one of our players on the East High football team had an opportunity to go on and play in college if they so desired. And I was able to establish some relationships with some of the best coaches in the state of Iowa. For all those reasons, I'm so proud to be here tonight, and I am so proud to introduce a young man that his brother has passed away, and he's being inducted tonight. And Nick Moorhead is here to accept that award. Nick? I'm sorry. I said I wouldn't mess it up, but Tony Moorhead.
All right. First of all, I'd like to say it's been a long time coming for my brother. I'd like to thank the committee for nominating him. I'd like to thank the fans and friends and family that are here today. And I'd like a special thank you to Marissa and Ariel Thornton, daughters of Terry and Nancy Thornton, for giving me all the research you did and all the information that you gave me. I'd like to congratulate the fellow inductees. Desmond, you were a better shooter than your dad. Terry graduated from East High in 1978, where he was a good student, a great athlete, and a good teammate. He participated in basketball, track, and football. He was a captain in all 3 team sports in football. Terry played both ways at running back and at free safety. He was all Metro, all conference, and all state defensive back. Terry was selected to play in the Iowa Shrine Bowl game, Iowa Shrine Bowl All-Star Classic game, one of the 32 players from East High to do so. He was an off-and-on starter on the basketball team, where at 6'2" and a 30-inch vertical leap, he was a good rebounder, shot blocker, and defensive stopper. In a game against Fort Dodge, Terry came off the bench and made a last-second shot to win the game. With his 4.5 speed in the 40, Terry competed in the track team. He did the high jump, ran the hurdles, and the relay teams. I was just talking with Lloyd Tim today, and I was asking him, I said, what relay was that and what did you win? He said, we ran it, we won everything in track. So Terry participated in the state track meet and also in the Drake relays, where he finished second in the hurdles, but only because he turned to look to see who was coming behind him, and he got passed. The Eastside relay team, the 4x40 relay team, which Lloyd Timms was on, had the fastest time in the state, but due to one of his teammates didn't have his shoes, they were disqualified. With all this being said, this is the reason why Terry was nominated as East High's most valuable male athlete in 1978. After graduating from high school, Terry decided to go to Santa Rosa Junior College in California to play football, where his best friend, Harold Woody Rogers, was going to wrestle. Harold Woody Rogers is the father of the East High present football coach, DeCarlos Anderson. Terry was not a starter when he came to Santa Rosa as a freshman, but when given the opportunity, Terry ran for 173 yards on 14 carries and scored 3 touchdowns in a game. Terry was then named the starting running back, where he averaged 7 yards per rush and had 10 touchdowns. Santa Rosa went on to win the mythical California Junior College State Championship with an 11-0 record. Terry was given the 1978 John Giamatti Award, recognizing outstanding performance and dedication to football at Santa Rosa. The 1978 football team was inducted into the Santa Rosa Junior College Athletic Hall of Fame in 2011. After completing his sophomore year in football and obtaining his associate arts degree, Terry was recruited to play football at UCLA, where he studied economics. Terry had the opportunity to be the starting running back against Wisconsin and the University of Iowa, And I have a picture of Audrey with my brother after that game. While at UCLA, they played in the Cotton Bowl and won the 1983 Rose Bowl against the Michigan Wolverines. My niece Marissa has his Rose Bowl jersey. He was awarded the UCLA Senior Award. Terry had free agent tryouts with the Denver Broncos, New England Patriots, and the Buffalo Bills before later returning home to complete his education, earning both a Bachelor of Arts degree and a Master's of Arts degree from the University of Northern Iowa. Jerry passed away Jerry passed away at the age of 63. He loved to dance, good food, especially pizza, watch sports, and listen to the radio. He was known for his sharp intellect, athletic prowess, and charming. I said I wasn't going to cry. His family is deeply proud of him, and this honor will be part of his legacy. And part of the legacy of East High with Terry is this, and the Moorhead name. Throughout East High, starting with Big Son Flowers, who is my dad's uncle. We have Glenn Moore, my first cousin, the Moseses, Troy Alexander, Lloyd Timms, the Montgomerys. We're all related. We're all family. So we all bleed black and orange. Thank you. Thank you.
Tough act to follow. Hello again, and I'm here to induct Stan Allen. Stan graduated in 1974, and while at East High School, he was very active in Trojan athletics. He lettered twice in football, twice in wrestling, and twice in baseball. The 1973 East football team was unbeaten, untied, and Big Nine conference champs, and ranked #1 in the state during the regular season. He was selected All Big 5 at linebacker and also All Conference at strong safety, while also being selected team captain by his teammates. Continuing a Ring of Honor tradition of the strong safeties who came up to support the run, it was called a hit-seeking missile from the secondary, like safeties Mike Woodley would do, like safeties Dave Magnuson, like strong safety Tim Moses, like safety Glenn Moore. Stan distinguished himself in that category when in a playoff game, he hit the Davenport Central runner so hard that he broke his face mask and had to come out of the game. And Coach Grunwald, am I right? Yeah, I tell you, Ron, you were there. I mean, we've been a lot of years. I can never remember breaking a face mask. So it's a classic East football moment. He also helped lead the wrestling team to a state runner-up finish, and he wrestled in the state finals himself. He also helped lead East baseball team to the state tournament. In school, he was in the top 10 scholastically and was vice president of the area Northeast Iowa DECA Club. Hey, John Wall, do you know what a DECA Club is? Good, I don't feel bad, okay. Stan then attended the University of Northern Iowa, where he wrestled, and he is a member of the 1975 UNI Hall of Fame wrestling team. After college, Stan was active in coaching and mentoring young athletes in football, baseball, wrestling, softball, and basketball? You say so. After 30 years in the management at a commercial bakery business, he is semi-retired and lives in Bennington, Nebraska. He came from some great family genes, as his father, Jack Allen, was a member of East's very first 1941 state championship team. And Tom Thorson and Rod Payne have mentioned how good a teammate he was and how they really enjoyed playing with him back then. Whew, okay. Anyway, I just want to finish this commentary on this note. You know, East High athletics have had many, many banner athletic years. But in 1974, their football team was ranked #1 in the state. The wrestling team was state runner-up. The basketball team wins a state championship. And the baseball team plays in the state tournament. And all the success they had in 1974, with all the athletes that they had, those athletes voted Stan East's most valuable athlete that year. The East High Football Hall of Fame is proud to welcome into the Ring of Honor 2024 inductee Stan Allen.
Well, I don't know if I can follow that, but I'll try. Ron. First of all, it's a real honor to be here, and I got to have a special thanks to my sister Gladys and her husband Scott for getting the ball rolling to get me nominated here. It's truly an honor. Our family's had a pretty rough year, and this has meant a lot to me. We lost a few members of our close-knit family, and this kind of helps that to the side. I can remember our football team, we all performed well together. It was basically helping each other, following the coaches' arrangements, et cetera, et cetera. It was fun. Like it was brought up earlier that I was playing, it was Davenport Central, and it was Curtis Craig, and it busted my face mask, but it also cracked the helmet, if I remember right. But all that said, I don't remember any of that because all the guys told me I had a really bad concussion. And the whole game was gone. But my friends on the team told me what happened. Yeah, they also, I got a note here that my dad, Jack Allen, played for East, and it's already been covered. I don't know if if he said, but his nickname was Jack Rabbit. And it was because he moved really fast and got away from people. The football tradition continues in our family. My son Brian played football, and he wished he would have kept pursuing it in college. Instead, he went to baseball. He was a real good kicker. He could kick 50-plus yards at the time. Then our oldest grandson, Owen, he plays for a high school team in Nebraska. It's Bennington High School. They won 2 state championships in a row, and he was a defensive back on that team, and a punt returner and kickoff returner. And his brother Parker, he currently plays for Bennington, and they haven't lost a game. Now I think they're 42-0, which is fun to go to. My wife and I go to it and watch. It's quite interesting. Then my wife and I, Jane, did a tour here at East and at West for our 50-year reunions. And it was really nice here at East. A fellow coach that I found out, and he's in this room today, Mr. Moses. He was really, really good at taking people around, showing him everything, telling the history of East, etc. It was really an excellent opportunity to be with him. Then we went to West High reunion the following week after East, and you get in there and you see all the players that you played against, and you really didn't recognize them until you look at their badge and etc. But it was really interesting talking to all the people from West about what they said about East High football athletics and our rivalry back and forth. And at that time we had busing going on, and we had a lot of East High students going to West or Central. And it seemed like a total family of people being together. And I'd just like to thank everybody for listening to my drawn-out, blind speech. But I'm not a real good speaker. But I want to thank my family for being here, and I want to thank everybody else that wears the orange and black. God bless you all.
I had the privilege of coaching at East High School from 1965 to 1971. During that time, I also had the privilege of coaching Greg Grimm, who was the center on our 1969 team. And I was telling Charlie as we were getting ready for this evening, you know what I'd like to do really when I talk about him, I'd like to bring in a real big book, like it's called like the Oxford English Dictionary. You guys probably remember it in the East High Library. You went in there and studied all the time. It's that great big book that sits over there on a pedestal that's open. And what I wanted to do then, I was going to flip through it and pull out his name. So just imagine that I'm doing that. I'm pulling out his name, and it's Greg Grimm. Greg Grimm, 1969 center, okay? And I started to think, you know, seems like I've seen him before. Then I started to think back, well, wait a minute. I remember in 1966, we had a center named Dave Neuendorf. He seemed a lot like him. And then we had one in 67 named Dennis Stephanie. He seemed a lot like him. Dennis Stephanie, by the way, is deceased too many years ago. And Dave Neuendorf is in the Hall of Fame. Dennis is not. I'd like to get him in the memorial. And then Ken Rosenkrantz was a 68 center, and he's also in the Hall of Fame. And then here's Greg Grimm, who is coming into the Hall of Fame, and then John Wall, the 1970 center, who is in the Hall of Fame. And I got to think, you know, they're a lot alike. In what respect? Well, physically they were all different. Different abilities, skills, stature. But where they were all the same was in performance. You could not take a matchbook cover and put it in between the difference in the performance that they all gave during the years they played. And then I thought, well, what caused something like that to happen? How could 5 different kids, including Greg, all being different but yet the same in performance? And it had to do with the way I think we as coaches ran the program during the season and in the off season. We had expectations. The kids had pride. And during the season, one of the things I did with the linemen is that on Thursdays, which was the light workout, I would take the linemen down to the end zone, and that's a place where no press and no publicity, nobody knows their names, right? Offensive linemen. Dwayne, remember that? So we would be down there, and right as we finished our workout, the first team players would step forward and shake the hands of the second and third team players and thank them for giving them the opportunity to practice so we could win 9 football games. Well, the second and third team players loved it because they got to shake the hands of the guys who were starting and winning, and they knew they could be there next year. And during my tenure, mostly it was seniors starting 1 year. There were some juniors who played 2 years. In fact, there were just 3 kids that I can remember who played 3 years. Mike Allen, who I guess has left, and Mike and Tom Smith. They played 65, 66, 67. And then Jerry Moses played 66 or 68, 67, 60, I'll get it, 67, 68, 69. Otherwise, all the kids that played during my time played 1 year as a starter. And that's what I'm describing to you about the center position. We had 5 different kids, and the mold was really set by Dave Neuendorf. We were playing Waldorf, Wahlert, Dubuque Wahlert. And again, he was a 66 center, our first undefeated team. And somehow Dave got into a fight, and the referees kicked him out. So they brought him over to the sideline and kicked him out, and he turned around and he wanted to fight with the officials, saying, "You can't kick me out. I'm the only center they got." Well, no. We had one, Dennis Stephanie, who then stepped in. The next year he started. The next year Ken Rosenkrantz. The next year Greg Grimm. The next year John Wall. You get the idea. What we really had going in our positions was kind of a plug-in, plug-out. We didn't miss a beat. Different kids, different times, different places, same attitude, same effort, same performance. What's that result in? We won. And Greg Grimm was a big part of that 69 team as a center. So, I gotta get this right. The East High Football Hall of Fame is proud to welcome into the Ring of Honor 2024 inductee, Greg Grimm.
You know, when you look back over the years and you think about playing at East High, you think, boy, you're lucky. You're a lucky guy to be able to play at East High. There's a couple things that stuck out. One was a practice that we had in Vine Street Stadium here. And we scrimmaged in against the first team defense. And Mr. Vernon was in the huddle with us, and he was calling the plays. Well, they called a 44 dive, and before our quarterback down here, John Tovar, had a chance to call it, Mr. Vernon turns to me and he said, "Now, Grimm," he says, "you got to get through that line and get over and get that linebacker, and you can't be picking daisies on the way over there." He says, "You got to take him out before that ball comes to the line." Well, then he reaches around behind me and pinches the back of my leg. I look at him, he looks at me, and he gives me that Mr. Vernon smile. If you knew Mr. Vernon, you knew that smile. We ran a play, and it went fine. And there was something else during those years. Our team of coaching staff had that commitment. We were committed to each other. We were committed to showing it to practice and putting in hard work, and it took to be a winner. We were not only winners, but we were champions. It is a privilege and an honor to have been a part of that. Not only that, but to wear the orange and black and to represent our school with pride and honor. This is such a special honor for me to have my name among the great names already in the Ring of Honor and those to come in the future. I also want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for the hard work they put in to do this, and they're the reason this is happening. I'll keep this honor in my heart for many years, and I thank you so much. God bless.
Hi, everyone. I'm very happy to welcome Brian Moore to the East Waterloo Ring of Honors. Brian grew up in Waterloo, educated in Waterloo, still lives in Waterloo to this day, played football for the East Waterloo feeder system, we'll call it, never lost a football game. Brian told me that, so I thought, hey, man, I better throw that out there. Brian played varsity football at East High, 1966, 1967, graduated in 68. Brian was a two-year letterman, defensive back, wide receiver. As a defensive back, I was a year behind Brian, by the way, so I witnessed all this. Brian was a very heavy physical hitter, 6 foot, 180 pounds, but he hit really hard. The defense Brian played on gave up an average of 4.2 points a game. I've looked back through all the records. I think that's probably the best defense that East High had in the modern era. Brian also played receiver, and he was very good there. 300 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns. He didn't start, he rotated in with a young man named Andrew Robinson, who I graduated with. And I'll just tell you this, Andrew was first-team All-State as a junior, senior, first-team high school All-American. But I was in the huddle and the field with these guys, and Brian pushed him every step, every reception, every block. Brian was right there with him. Very good football player. Brian also wrestled, 2-year starter, 2-year letterman, winning record. He did not make the state tournament. His 2 workout partners did. They placed, and that's another example. Brian made his teammates better, and to me, that's a big deal. If you make your teammates better, that's a big deal. Come springtime, Brian played baseball, and he was one of the best baseball players that this school's ever produced. He wasn't at the head of the table with Mike Roby, but he was at the table. He was very, very good. Ended his senior year being named the American Legion State Tournament Most Valuable Player, and he went on and played in the national tournament. Now, Brian came to that athletic fork in the road where you got to decide, do I want to play football? Do I want to play baseball? And he was a very good student, so he could have went anywhere. He decided at that time to go to Ellsworth Junior College. And I went to Ellsworth a year after Brian, and I can tell you right now, that school mirrored East High athletics. They had tremendous, tremendous talent. When I was there, we went to the national tournament in baseball, won the national championship in basketball, went to the first of 6 straight bowl games. Brian went up there, played football, played in every game and started. And I'm telling you, these guys were very talented. 5 first-team all-conference players with Brian, 3 All-Americans. 2 of those had a cup of coffee in the NFL, and Brian Moore went up there and started with that crew. Come springtime, he played baseball, and again, he excelled. First year, he was a freshman All-American, honorable mention. Second year, second-team All-American. The scouts rated him the 156th best baseball player in the United States, and he was drafted in the 7th round by the Washington Baseball Club. Tremendous all-around athlete. Brian declined the draft and had that fork of the road in athletics again. Does he go play football or does he go play baseball? Well, with what happened in baseball, he decided to stay with baseball, took a full scholarship to Northern Illinois University, led them to a 24-6 record. That's the best record in school history to this day, and led them to their first ever NCAA tournament invitation. Brian was called back to Northern Illinois in 2008 and put in their Athletic Hall of Fame. Brian had one last opportunity to go pro in baseball, turned it down, came back to Waterloo, worked at John Deere for 35 years, and listen to this, the last several, while he worked at John Deere's, he put himself on 3rd shift so that he could work all night at Deere's, get off, and substitute teach for the Waterloo School all day. What a work ethic. And you know, I was thinking about that work ethic that Brian has, and I'm sure most of it came from his beautiful family, but a slice of that work ethic came from that Vine Street Stadium back there. The discipline, the fundamentals, the repetition, the effort, the attitude, the winning, that was formulated right over here at Vine Street Stadium. And Brian Moore is a winner. He played over here, went 18-0 as a football player, 2 state championships, and for you history fans, that 18-0 is just a slice of the 56 straight unbeaten games that Waterloo East put together, and to this day, that's still the longest unbeaten streak in the state of Iowa. Yeah. Brian was a big part of that. So I'm just telling you right now, I am proud, very proud to introduce to you 2023, 2024 Ring of Honor member, Brian Moore.
All right, Brian. You're on. You're on. All right, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know what to say. Mike said it all. He stole all of my steam, but that's okay. I've thought about this moment, and with it finally here, all I can say is thank you. Thank you.
Come on, Brian. You're supposed to be longer than that, dog. Good evening. Bear with me now, because I think I got old and became a little softy, so. I'm about to induct my son to the Ring of Honor. It's an honor being in this group. The love we have for Eastside football is just unimaginable. I lost my best friend. I introduced him into the Ring of Honor. So this is heartfelt for me. With that said, this is for my son, Corey Turner. Corey started his football career playing for the LBC Steelers in 5th and 6th grade. He played defensive tackle and was an offensive line. He played hard, and during the time, Corey was already showing early flashes of being a team player and loving the sport of football. He was coachable, hardworking, and had the love for the game. Corey and the Steeler team were undefeated and didn't lose a game during the 2 seasons of the Pee Wee football. And all those games played at Sloan Wallace Stadium. And Coach Shealy, Coach Shealy was the man behind it. Corey entered middle school and continued to play his career at Hoover Middle School, where he was moved to running back and did a great job in the middle school. Corey was a hard runner, hard to tackle, which raised many eyebrows at the high school level. Hoover was the Metro champs and only lost 1 time during Corey's 2 years playing in middle school. I got to tell a story about that. Westside wanted Corey bad. And at the time, it was Coach G that was the coach at Westside. And we're at home, and the phone rings. It's Coach G. I answered, and he wanted to talk to Corey. I said, about coming to East Side. I said, well, okay. I'll let you talk to him. Corey talked to Coach G, and he listened. When he got done talking to Coach G, he told Coach G, said, Coach G, I'm going to East Side. Corey had to make a tough decision to follow his teammates to West or to go to East. Corey chose to follow the footsteps of his family and attended East Side School. His father and brother Ramon, mother's son, and several other family members played at East. As a freshman, Corey continued to play running back and did very well, to the point he got moved up to play sophomore at a time when playing above your grade level was not an option. Corey and a few of his other teammates had the opportunity to play the last couple of games with the sophomore team, which he appreciated. And I remember I was talking to Trice about that scrimmage they had in front of East High. It wasn't nothing nice, man. I mean, the sophomores was putting it on the 9th graders. Corey continued his hard work throughout the summer and was granted the opportunity as a sophomore to play varsity and had a big impact on the offensive defensive line. Notice I didn't say running back. At the time, Corey was willing to do whatever he needed to help the team, which meant transition to a position that he was familiar with from his younger playing days. Corey played guard, defensive tackle, and was a part of the team that broke the long East High losing streak, beating Dubuque Senior at East High's homecoming game night. What a win. This shows Corey's unselfishness in doing whatever it took to help the team. Corey continued his varsity career as junior and senior year. Senior year, Corey earned first team All-Metro, first team All-Conference, Rotary Club Player of the Year for Eastside School. He was also named Eastside Most Valuable Player. Corey enrolled through scholarships, opportunities at Wartburg College, and continued to play football. He graduated in 2013 from Wartburg and currently serves as the program coordinator at Foundation 2 Youth Shelter in Cedar Rapids. The Eastside Hall of Fame is proud to welcome Ring of Honor 2024 inductee, my son, our son, Corey Walker Turner. Bravo. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you.
First, I would like to thank God, because without him, none of this would be possible. And I would like to thank my parents, Ron and Cora Turner, for putting me in sports at an early age and always believing in me. To my coaches and teammates, it was an honor to share that field with you guys and represent the East High Trojans. Even though we always didn't get the outcome we wanted, I wouldn't trade those memories for anything. I am very thankful for the coaching I received from an early age that pushed me to be the best I could be on and off the field. My coaches always put me in situations to be successful in order to show my abilities on the field, and I am very thankful for that. To the committee, I sincerely thank you to everyone on the committee for thinking of me for this wonderful recognition. It is certainly one of the most meaningful and personal honors that I've ever received. Football also taught me many life lessons as I continue to grow into the adult that I am today. Football taught me patience, hard work, and dedication, which I applied to my everyday life at work as a program coordinator working with younger youth. To the youth that are here tonight, I say this: believe in yourself, believe in your dreams, and go make it happen. Thank you once again for this honor, and go Trojans.
All right, and now rounding out our distinguished class of 2024 inductees is Desmond Van Arsdale. You got a lot of clout, man. Desmond graduated in 2013 and was quarterback on East High's last winning playoff team. He was voted team captain, also named twice to the All-Metro and to the All-Conference, and capped off his senior year being named first team All-State. He was selected Male Athlete of the Year by KBBG Radio, and like Stan Allen, he was voted, and Corey Turner, he was voted East High's most valuable athlete, as he also received honors for his athletic achievements in basketball and track. In his season opener, his senior season, Desmond accounted for 378 yards in total offense with 5 touchdowns and a 40-14 thrashing of Dubuque Wahlert. In a 3-game winning streak that year, Desmond threw for 833 yards passing. He rushed for another 307 yards running, and for a total of 1,100 total yards in 3 games, which resulted in 15 combined passing and rushing touchdowns. Desmond also helped East High's football team on defense, where he recorded 23.5 tackles, had 3 interceptions, which few other Ring of Honor quarterback members played defense. We've had a few play defense, but not many. In addition to that, he also ran back punts 9 times for 269 yards and a 30-yard return average, which fewer Ring of Honor members would have done. I don't know, Carper, I can imagine you catching punts. He capped it off. In addition, he ran back kickoffs. He ran back 4 kickoff returns for 179 yards for a 44.8 average in his returns, which I don't know of many. We've got great quarterbacks, but I don't know how many quarterbacks would flip over and play defense and then return punts and then return kickoffs. You know, Gabe, I don't remember Brian Jones ever asking you to get back there and do that. So what a complete player. Desmond finished his 3-year varsity career with 3,906 total passing yards, 2,167 total rushing yards, 23 rushing touchdowns, 20 passing touchdowns, which is interesting. He ran for more touchdowns than he passed, even though he threw for over 1,800 more yards. Desmond went on to play at Iowa Central Community College and helped them win the 2013 Iowa Graphic Edge Bowl in the Unidome. Desmond continues to live in Waterloo and referees our area football games with his dad, Stacy, who was a very fine football player in high school in his own right. The East High Football Hall of Fame is proud to welcome into the Ring of Honor 2024 inductee, Desmond Van Arsdale.
Good evening. Can you guys hear me? Perfect. First off, I would like to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because without him, none of this would be possible. I'm gonna try my hardest not to get emotional up here. Tonight, I'm humble to be joining such an elite fraternity of great players to wear the orange and black. I want to start by congratulating my fellow inductees who I share the stage with now. We are forever linked together, so congratulations, guys. People who leave a big imprint on your life at an early age are coaches, so I want to take the time to thank all my coaches throughout the years. Please bear with me. From flag football, Coach Troy, Coach Steve, Coach Sadler. From Pop Warner football, Raiders. Coach Price, Coach Terry, Coach Bishop. From Bunker Middle School, Coach Clyde, Coach Wagner. From Logan Middle School, Mr. Mike Allen, Coach Ice, Coach Wright, Coach Salas. My track coaches, Coach Granger, Coach Timo. My East High basketball coaches, Coach Stone, Coach Salas, Coach Drake, Coach Mittendorf, Coach Cox, Coach Mike, Coach Carlos. Our East High football, Coach Mays, Coach Freeney, Coach Carter, Coach Griff, Coach Jacobs, Coach Magnuson, Coach Herring, Coach Schmidt, Coach Brecky, Coach Petro, and Coach Asmus. The stories I could tell about Coach Asmus as a coach are endless, but I could also go on about the man that he is and his family. Amazing. I remember my freshman year when Asmus came over from NU. We lost our previous coach, and I mentioned to my mom I wanted to transfer to Cedar Falls. She looked at me like I was crazy. I'm the youngest of 5, and I wasn't going to be the first one graduating outside of East High. So my sophomore year was tough, was rough to say the least, but rewarding. We made the playoffs, but the game before the playoffs, I broke my collarbone, so I couldn't play. I'm not going to go into that story, but if you know, it could have been prevented. Before my junior year, the summer before my junior year, about 20 to 25 of us went out to Washington, D.C., competed in a 707 tournament. Amazing time. Junior and senior year, we made the playoffs. Senior year, we finally got to win a game in the playoffs. To my teammates, I hope I made you guys proud. I always wanted my teammates to know after every game the 5 gave everything he had. Yes, I was a talker at all times and practiced going against multiple all-state players on defense like Alex Oliver, Calvin Clark, Jordan Johnson, and the class of 2022 inductee Russell Jones. We had battles every day, and they know what the offense did to them. Some of my teammates are still my best friends to this day. It's because of the times we had during those years that truly wanted to change the culture of East High football. To this game, the game teaches you so much about life, how the little things matter, like being on time, following the rules, being held accountable, being coachable, having thick skin, and most importantly, after you get knocked down, get up, there's still another play in life. I grew up on so many of the stories I've heard about my fellow Ring of Honor inductees, from the dominant years of the 60s and 70s to royalty from East High like the Moses family. I dream to have my name in those same conversations amongst some of the greatest to walk the halls of Troy. It's truly a privilege to join you gentlemen in this wonderful fraternity. To my family, my grandparents, thank you for always supporting me and leading our family with grace and style. The love I've always felt helped on the field because I knew I was going to hear and see my family in the crowd. To my sisters, Dominique and Diamond, who are here. Thank you for giving me that big sister tough love growing up. They could hurt my feelings like nobody else, and I still don't understand why. To my big brothers who are not here this evening, one of them works a lot and the other one is serving. He lives in Louisiana. He's serving in the Navy, I believe, Air Force. So he's in Louisiana. My oldest brother, D, we're 14 years apart. I heard so many stories about him growing up that I always measured my success off what he did. He used to beat me in basketball so bad growing up, and I finally got big enough, he was ducking that action. I think he knew what would happen. My brother, Dimitri, he's 18 months older than me, and I was always hanging on to him. I had my best friend growing up in the same house as me. and he was also a receiver whenever I needed one. My siblings are where I get my thick skin and toughness from. Being the youngest of 5 is fun, but you can also imagine the other half of that. To my parents, words can't describe the love I have for you two. There was not a single game in my high school career that my mom or dad did not attend. Didn't matter the distance, the weather, the cost, and for that, I am thankful and blessed. I love you guys to life. To Sha'Carri, you just wanted to be my friend in high school, but I got you now. Thank you for praying for me daily, seeing the best in me, never wavering through the good and the bad, and inspire me every day. Thank you for being my life partner and being an amazing mother to our Braxton Joy. The longer I speak, the more likely is a chance I'll get emotional. So I'm going to end by saying, wearing that orange jersey and black pants every Friday was an honor. Growing up on the east side of town comes with a built-in pride. When you're playing, you don't even think about making the Hall of Fame. You're just playing with the boys in hopes to win on Friday. When you go to the barbershop on Sunday, the guys are praising you. When you pick up the courier on Sunday, you want to see your picture in there that you won. I am proud to say I'm an East High Trojan class of 2013, but now I have to add East High Ring of Honor class of 2024. Thank you, God bless.
Let's finish the night off with the best note possible with our East High School fight song. We want to thank Shannon Jensen. Pull out your program. Pull out your program. It has the lyrics in there. So let's bring up the Bruce Springsteen of East High School, Mike Sheely. Right over here, we got Captain and Tennille. And just a quick disclaimer that if you sing off key like Mike Woodley does every year, you'll fit right in, okay? So let's everybody stand up, pull your program out, and let's end this up on a good night. Da 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 da.
Dear, dear boys, on you, wake up the echoes to be for you. Send the volley cheer on high, shake down the thunder from the sky. Like the gods he breaks long, he's Waterloo will win over all. While her royal sons go marching onwards to victory. E-A-S-T-H-I-G-A.
I am East High.
I am East High.
For Tony and Terry Moorhead, we are Trojans.
For Larry Van Ort and Greg Grimm, we are East High.
For Charlie Aldrich, Stan Allen, and Desmond Van Arsdale, we are Orange and Black.
For Mike Watkins and Brian Moore, we are Trojans.
For Ryan Turner and Corey Turner, we are Trojans.
Mike Sheely, Tony and Terry Moorhead, we are East High.
I am Orange and Black.
I am East High.
I am Orange and Black.
I am a Trojan.
And once a Trojan, always a Trojan.